Alright guys, we got something kind of interesting here for you today. I wanted to share with you my pedal board here. It's a pretty simple one, as you can see, and I actually made it myself, so I figured it would probably be nice to show you guys what I got going on here, because a lot of you guys are probably in the same boat as me here, and that's playing in a cover band where you don't really need a large selection of pedals at your disposal, but there are a few that are kind of good to have with you at all times, and you know, this board is exactly what that's for. So first things first, I'll show you guys the board itself. I guess technically you could call it a dual level pedal board, although only one of the levels is actually for pedals. The bottom level, the basement we have down here, currently is kind of empty. I just have a power supply in there. That's a Voodoo Labs Pedal Power 2 and a little I think it's a 3-plug power strip that I got in there. So that's all I got under there, but at one point in time I actually had a wireless unit in here. I used to use a wireless in-ear monitor setup, so I had it configured that the wireless unit set underneath here, and as you'll see in the back I got some plugs, and one of the plugs was for the aux from the mixing board, and so I got my mix sent right to the pedal board here, and then it just broadcast it right to my wireless body pack. Don't have that anymore, obviously. I've since gone to a wired setup, but I'm considering looking for one of these like Class D real like lightweight bass amps, and maybe putting that down here if I could find one that would fit. Moving right along here, as you can see on the outsides, I went with a tweed covering, and this was the first time I ever attempted to cover anything in tweed, or really any fabric actually, and it worked pretty well. The adhesive I actually used was hot glue, and the only problem with that is, I'll see if you guys can see it, if you get it in the right light, actually you can't really see it right now, but in certain lights you can see like the waviness. I took the hot glue gun and like ran it into zigzags, so sometimes you can see those zigs and those zags. But the pattern of the tweed I think does a pretty good job of hiding that. I think if it was a solid color it might be a little worse. Maybe not, I don't know. Around the back you can see we've got our all of our inputs and outputs here. Of course we've got power, and that feeds the little mini power strip that I got inside underneath there. And then we just have an input and output, and then currently it's unused. It used to be used for that wireless unit, but right now that final port there is not being used for anything. Like I was saying, in the future I'm considering seeing if I could find a like real tiny amp head that I could fit in here, and if I end up doing that, that'll probably be, I guess, the speaker out. I got these real nice screws here. Actually a buddy of mine helped me put this thing together, and he had these screws lying around. Very nice. So I used them to hold the back panel on here. And then on the top here, I can't remember what type of wood this is. Might be walnut. I'm not really a woodworker, so I don't know what this wood was. As you can see, I didn't even finish it. I just left it natural finished, and didn't really even do anything about these screws here. But I think that kind of really just covers the pedal board itself. Like I say, it's very simple. There's not much to it. As far as like how I made it, what you're looking at here is just like two pieces of wood. You have a well, let's just say this is like 3/4, whatever it is. You have this 3/4 piece like running down here, and then just another piece of 3/4 that I ripped and made a little bit shorter, glued to the side of it, and that's how we got that shape. And then the back panel, if I remember correctly, I believe that's just another piece of this, whatever wood that is, and I think that's probably about 1/4 inch, and it's plenty thick. You have the, not that this is the best idea, but you have the power supply under here kind of acting as like a little support for them. So when you stomp on these pedals, there's no flex or anything, and you're not supposed to stand on your pedals anyway, so as long as you're not doing that, shouldn't be any problem. For the bottom of it, I just used like a piece of masonite. Same deal, my buddy had it just lying around, and it worked good enough for me. You're not looking at it. I had decided to put the brown side down and the white side of the masonite on the inside here. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of that, even though I've been using it for a year and a half. I think it might look better if it was black. I don't know. Haven't decided that, but I definitely wanted the like the wood finish out. I wish it had that finish on both sides, but it doesn't. Oh well. Now, as far as pedals themselves, first things first, we've got our tuner, and I decided to go with this Sonic Research Turbo Tuner. It's actually a strobe tuner, and if you're not familiar with that, you can look it up, but it's basically, I mean, other than the fact that I think they're more accurate, it's just a different method of visually representing if you're in tune or not. In the next position, I got my octave pedal, and this position is kind of like, this position meaning the second one in, is like my, the one that is auxiliary. I can switch it out if I want. It's not like part of the, the core setup that I always have. But I've had this octave pedal in here for a while, and being in a cover band, unless you're like a tribute band where you need exact sounds, you really don't need to go crazy getting all kinds of different sounds in my opinion. So really the only place I use that is like Let's Groove Tonight by Earth, Wind and Fire. They have like that vocoder sound. I think it sounds, you know, it's pretty appropriate there. I've used it on Uptown Funk before. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Same deal, because you know, it's in D and I play a 4-string bass, so I can't play it the octave down. Sometimes I think it's a little much, because my whole thing with, you know, that pedal or an envelope filter, any pedal, you don't want to be going crazy with them. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that pedal. It works great. I'm a big fan of it. Next we got our compressor. For me, a compressor is like essential, just because of the fact that we play so many different styles of music. You know, I'll be playing like real light, like jazzish, finger style playing, whatever that song might be, with very light attack. And then, you know, later in the night we're playing some kind of, you know, 90s modern rock. Who knows what kind of song it is, where I'm really digging in, and you don't want to have a, you know, massive volume difference. Which there certainly is if you don't have this. So that's why I have the compressor. I leave it on all the time, and it's like a set it and forget it type of pedal. Really, actually, all of these are. You know, I know what my settings are, because when I put them in the bag that I keep this in, sometimes they get messed up. So I always know what the settings are supposed to be if I got to adjust them. And I haven't adjusted any of these, by the way. So if you're looking for my settings, I could always do another video on that, but that's not what you should be gaining from this. Last but not least, we got our Sans amp here. And the Sans amp, if you're not familiar with this pedal, it's like a glorified DI, active DI. So what it allows you to do is, you know, instead of just being a DI, you can also scoop your tone or shape your tone a little bit, should I say. And so this is like basically where all my tone comes from. You can see there's a an output here with a XLR, and so I send my tone to the front of house, whether, you know, we're doing our own sound or we're not doing our own sound. There's a sound man wherever I'm playing. I always give them that signal. That way it doesn't matter what amp I'm playing on. If I have my amp with me, you know, that's great, but if not, it doesn't matter, because all my tone comes from, you know, my bass, my fingers, and this thing right here. So it's great for consistency. So that's another, you know, that pedal is always on, and that does it. I mean, like I say, it's a very simple pedal board, so I'm not going to make a 28-minute video, you know, rambling on about it. If you guys are interested in more details, I can certainly give you some more, and, you know, if you want to know more about a specific pedal, that's certainly possible. I can make a video on, you know, an individual pedal, if that's what you guys are interested in. But I just wanted to give you guys an overview of this and you know, show you what I got going on here. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it turned out, I think it looks pretty good. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribed already. Give me a thumbs up. That's very important. See you guys in the next one.